What's going on, everyone? American Leeds, the American Leeds YouTube channel. We'll see how this one goes. Happy Monday morning, everyone. And this is meant to be quick, or the quicker of the two podcasts. The long form is on Wednesday mornings. Short one is going to be uh, on Monday mornings or Sunday nights. And I'll usually have a guest on Wednesdays, and yeah, it's a little bit shorter and tighter, uh, and tighter this night. But I think we've got some stuff to look at. So, but it's me solo. That's what it'll be. And wanted to look at the 49ers ownership, a little bit of a Burnley preview, and then take it from there as we are still on the international break and starved for football. So proper football, as they say. And we'll also dig into your comments as well. So let's look at the 49ers ownership. I just wanted to share this. This is a kind of a puff piece. There's no other way to put it, that the Denise Bartolo York did right before the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It wasn't the most recent Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl a couple years ago, but it gives us a little bit of insight into the York family. And I'm going to cut it a little short because it gets into kind of too many softball questions from the media group here that did this. I believe this was NFL Network.
Like, it's about time you guys got back to the Super Bowl, don't you think?
So this is the woman that, and the York family owns the 49ers Enterprises. The 49ers Enterprises is comprised of the 49ers football franchise, or American Football Club, and Leeds United Football Club. To my knowledge, those are the only two assets under this. If you Google the York family, Denise does not do a lot of interviews. Her son Jed does a lot of interviews for the 49ers. He speaks several times a year about the 49ers. That is their main passion. That will make no bones about it. But I think if you look at a lot of the American owners, it doesn't mean that they're not completely invested in their other assets. Just means I think that's what their, I don't know, main passion is.
Super Bowl champions are going. Sit down with Denise DeBartolo York, and I just feel like it's about time you guys got back to the Super Bowl, don't you think?
I really appreciate that. Yes, I think so.
The five-time Super Bowl champions are going back to Miami. Looking at the necklace over there, tell me about it.
Very excited. This is the Super Bowl ring and pendant form because I have teeny tiny hands. We have 5. The Steelers, our neighbors, have 6, so we're looking to be equal with the Steelers after this weekend.
We're trying to get you another one. Can you just talk a little?
They have 5 world titles.
The camaraderie, the synergy, they're a great group of
Significance of this moment for the team, the players, and especially your family.
I think it's a great moment. The camaraderie, the synergy. They're a great group of men. You know, it harkens back to the good old days. I wish that my parents were still here. I'm sure they're looking down. My brother's all excited.
You mentioned your father, Edward DeBartolo Sr.
Yes.
Knowing what he meant to the game. I mean,
So I'm not going to get this next part completely right, but her brother, her last name's York. She got married. Her brother, last name of DeBartolo, owned the 49ers for a long time. He got into some legal trouble, and most of their world titles happened under his ownership. He got into some legal trouble, was forced to sell the team to his sister in order to keep the asset within his family. and they ever since then are seeking to get another world title. Why that's important? It's a different family in a sense. I mean, it's relatively the similar family, but it's a different family. And the son, Jed, is now taking really the reins of the ownership and the ownership of the 49ers enterprises. And Parag has been kind of the whisperer of the franchise early on in terms of maximizing revenue, and that's why he is in charge of Leeds United. I believe he should be, or someone from the club should be making a statement soon. I mean, I have no authority to think that, but I just would love to see the communication from the ownership and the board step up a little bit. Maybe they feel like they don't need to communicate with the club, but um, yeah, I would certainly, as a fan of Leeds United, like to see that. Uh, so, anyways, setting more context for you.
What would he think about this season, about this run?
Days, I wish that my parents were still here. I'm sure they're looking down. My brother's all excited.
You mentioned your father, Edward DeBartolo Sr.
Yes.
Knowing what he meant to the game, I mean, this is your.
They also became wealthy because mainly, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, they built strip malls. They understood how to buy or build strip malls in the United States quickly and at low cost. And if you know anything about the United States, there are a lot of strip malls out here. And to build them quickly and at low cost, and pull all the different legislative bodies that you need to do, all that stuff. If you're able to do that quickly, I think you become a big value in the marketplace. So construction.
What would he think about this season, about this run of this team?
I think he would be so proud. He adored my son, Jed. It was his first grandson. We lived with my parents, actually, Jed and I, the first 2 years of his life. You know, he adored the kid. He called him Little Eddie. I named him John Edward after his father and his grandfather, but there was none of that. It was always Little Eddie. So Jed learned a lot from him.
You've been an inspiration to me and so many women. You've been at the forefront of women in football.
Okay, and then it gets into really kind of a puff piece and hopes and aspirations for the Super Bowl, which they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, which happens to be my squad that I'm originally from that area and that part of the country. So let's look at where the 49ers sit in terms of the 50 most valuable franchises according to Forbes. And this is Forbes' list, and you can see there's 2 F1 teams, there's 3 Major League Baseball teams, 3 NBA, National Basketball Association teams, 30 NFL teams, and 7 World Football teams or soccer teams, according to Forbes. And so there are 30. Just tells you what a behemoth the NFL is here in the United States. I mean, it is a religion here. I mean, I know football back in Europe is a religion in a way as well, but I don't know. It's another level. And I think a bigger portion of our discretionary income, maybe. I don't know, but we spend a lot of money on our NFL franchises. There are 32 teams in the NFL. 30 of them have made the top valuable franchises. Number 1, the Dallas Cowboys at $9 billion. And you can see some of the year purchased, what they were paid for, the current value, and the rank and the change. They're a huge brand. I don't know. New York Yankees. Interesting, the Golden State Warriors, because they were a really bad franchise for a while when I was a kid in the 90s. New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, New York Giants, Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders, which is interesting, New York Knicks, New York Jets. We're going to get to some. There we are. Real Madrid is the highest, richest, most valuable club in world football. And I like that it says year purchased NA, price paid NA, not available. And it's up 2 spaces from the previous year. And then you get into the Manchester United is rated at $6 billion, and the San Francisco 49ers American Football Club is 13th. Actually, the San Francisco 49ers are down 1 slot, and Manchester United is up 6 slots. Owned by the Glazer family, year purchase 2005. They paid almost $1 billion for it in 2005. Interesting. 46% change, and they're up 6 spots. And then you see the York family, year purchase 1977 for $13 million, 5-year change 97%, and down from the previous year. So I think these numbers might have come up, but this kind of gives you a picture of, I don't know, our ownership and what they are. What they're worth. Leeds United would be, I also pulled a list of the top 30 most valuable clubs in world football. Leeds United did not make the list because we are in the championship. If we were in the Premier League, we would easily be in the 30 most valuable clubs. The 29th highest rated most valuable club, according to Forbes, is Brighton. So that gives you gives you a sense. Nothing that there's anything wrong with Brighton. Brighton feels established, I'm sure, in the Premier League, but once we get back into that league, you will see just win, baby. That Rob the Glob, that's the Raiders, and a very true statement at that. Just win, baby. Yeah, if we get into the next league, we will easily be in the top 30, maybe the top 20. I would suspect. What else can I share with you? This is an interesting little stat from the Second Tier podcast. Some people love them, some people hate them. Right now I'm indifferent on these gents. And Leeds United have the 46th most expensive squad in world football. It costs $192 million to assemble, which is more than the likes of Ajax, Frankfurt, Lazio, and Porto. Burnley, Middlesbrough, and Sheffield United were also in the top 100. So I assume by this stat, they're also saying that we are the most expensive squad in the championship. Year two. So why am I bringing a lot of this up? I'm bringing a lot of this up because I've gotten some comments. We hear in the background, Leeds United did not spend comparative to their outgoings this window. And I completely understand that statement if we were in the Premier League. We're not in the Premier League. We have strict financial regulations here in the championship. Why? Well, my estimation is the EFL championship wants more minnows to come out of the EFL championship. They want more Luton Town stories. They want more of these kind of David versus Goliath to come out, because that makes it more exciting. It makes the playoffs more exciting. It makes it makes their league more exciting. And then, it's the Cinderella story. Then all of a sudden you have Liverpool coming into Luton Town, and it's a great, even though they really have no chance, it's a nice story. That's my theory. I have no evidence, but I think that that's what's going to happen. You're going to see strict financial regulations in the championship. You've seen penalties. You've seen way harsher penalty in the championship than you have in the Premier League. You've seen a couple kind of slapped on the wrists. Everton got slapped a couple times with some point deduction. But you just saw Leicester City kind of get away with it on a technicality because they're in a different league, quote unquote. So it's really not a league that you can buy your way out of, in my estimation. Rob the Glob, are you saying, I think you're saying the 49ers lost again, and they absolutely did. So what else do I want to show you? Here's a little their star boy, the San Francisco 49ers star boy got an advertisement with Toyota, and he plays quarterback for them, and I think this is just this is interesting. Interesting advert for their star boy. Brock Purdy, his name is Brock Purdy, who just lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. They just lost the final, right? The Champions League final. And this is the advertisement from as we start. They're just now starting the NFL season.
Brock, over here. What's next for Brock Purdy?
Well, get up early, get going, try a new protein shake. Try another. Gym by 6? No, 30. Leg day, every day. Get married, get an oil change, flowers. And Dad, call Steve Young. What up, kid? First to camp, last out, repeat. 100% locked in. Let's do this. Gonna take some time off, then get back to work.
Brock, over here. What's next for Brock Purdy?
I don't know. That just goes to show you the marketing power of the NFL. I mean, could you imagine? I don't know. Could you imagine? I would say Patrick Bamford, because he's got the squeaky clean type image like this kid does, doing this type of ad. But that's the type. You're playing for a top. You're playing for a top 6, top 4 side in the States. So. That's the kind of brand recognition that you get in the NFL. Look, I think we've done well. I mean, I don't want to go over all the players that we've brought in. I think I went over this last time. I think the Archie sale told me that there was some big financial payments that we had to make, and that was the price. Somerville, Ruter, and Archie are the price you pay for not getting promoted last season. And, close but no cigar. So we had to make some serious decisions. None of the 3 players that we sold were we actively trying to sell. All 3 of them, and the 3 big ones, release clauses were triggered. And when release clauses are triggered, the hands of the ownership were kind of tied. You see Greta Steinson in more of the as the lead board member representing the ownership. When the player's holding up the jersey, you see Steinson right there. So he is really, I think, in charge of, football recruitment and signing the players. And I think he has a lot of autonomy. I think he is also Greta Steinson is a person that could probably be anywhere in world football, and he's with Leeds United because we're giving him a lot of freedom to operate the club. This is again this is what I just think. This is podcast by Alex. So yeah, I would like, with all this being said, I still would like a long form interview on the Square Ball or Sky News somewhere, maybe 10 to 30 minutes, talking about the decisions of the club and the ownership. Doesn't have to be, the York family doesn't have to fly over to Leeds Bradford Airport and do a exclusive sit down with, I don't know, Simon Jordan and talk what. But I would like to see some explanation. It is a big club. It's a big club in the country, and kind of a heritage club, if you would. And I think it's owed to the fans for some statement. Again, I think they've done a decent job. I think they did a decent job given what they had to work with this window. Now you look at the players. I mean, I feel fairly confident that the manager has enough to get up this season. I really do. Of course, you could say we're missing a 10, but it looks like it'll be, Cam by committee, quite honestly, with Aronson mainly in that role, and then possibly Nanto. And I've looked at tape, looked at the games over the past few uh, the past 4 games. Nanto pops up all over the field. He pops up. He's taking the ball off the center back. He's passing it into the midfield, and then he's falling back into the front line. He was off a lot, obviously, last game, offsides. He was playing kind of in those central spaces, so he wasn't, I think, in his natural wing position where he would be looking at the line. And so he'll just get used to that. And I think he was he's very aggressive. He obviously got announced that his contract was being signed earlier that morning and would be staying with the club for hopefully a long time. So, I mean, he just probably wanted to prove himself. So I don't fault him for that. He was very aggressive in the last match. Let's take a look at Burnley. Burnley will be coming up after the break. And, quite honestly, this looks like to me a trap game for Leeds United. We have a significant amount of players out, and there's really nothing you can do about that, right? They're on. They've been called up to their respective squads. The Wales crew obviously will be there, minus Dan James. I fully expect Ampadu and Rodon, who are the starters, right? Darlow and crew probably won't see the field. No offense to them, but Darlow's the backup keeper. Crew is a young lad that I think is right on the cusp of making the bench. But I fully expect, as long as they're healthy, Ampadu and Rodon to be ready to roll for the next match. Junior Firpo is another matter just because he'll be flying back, and the jet lag will be probably a little bit more significant for Junior Firpo, who played up top to start the match. I thought was interesting, and then moved to his natural fullback position for the Dominican Republic in a 4-3, I believe, something like that, maybe 3-2. Aronson again. I don't know if he'll be really. I mean, he'll probably start, but you're looking at he's playing New Zealand. It shows down here when all the players are playing. Ao Tanaka is another one that it's going to be questionable whether he'll be ready to go. Gruev, Vober. So you have a lot of starters, Joseph, Nanto, and Mullen, that are playing international, that'll basically have one training session to go. So let's see. Let's look at these are the first games that they played. Let's look at the second, because everybody played basically 2 games during this break. So there you go. You see Monday, September 9th. So that's tomorrow. I'm just talking about the players that really are going to play, right? Ampadu and Rodon are playing tomorrow at Montenegro versus Wales. Monar Solomon's playing Italy at the senior level. I'm not going to talk about Max Vober, but he's playing Norway. Aronson is playing New Zealand at 12 a.m. Tuesday. So that's technically Monday in the States, but still. Dominican Republic versus Dominica, Mateo Joseph, and the U21 setup versus Hungary. So again, you travel back on Wednesday. You basically have Thursday and Friday, right? Or no, Thursday to prepare and get back on, the same time frame as everybody else. So I am expecting it to be, quite honestly, a little bit of a trap game. We have so many players out on international duty. It's just the way it is, right? that have not trained with the first team and not really studied tape on Burnley. So if we get any kind of, quite honestly, if we get any results, I'll be happy. If we walk out of Turf Moor with a draw, it'll probably feel like points dropped by the fans. But with me looking at where our players are coming off of, I honestly would take a point at this point. And maybe that's not the mindset we need to have. But you're looking at most of the starters being out. I mean, who is Farka working with right now? Honestly, he's working with Stroik. He's working with, he's working with I don't know, his midfield's out, and basically most of his attacking line is out. I mean, literally all of his entire starting front four is out. Solomon, Aronson, Nanto, and Joseph are all gone. Not that, I mean, that's pretty fluid up front, but still, I just think at this point, knowing what I know now, looking at that, I take a point. And it's stinks to say we should be getting all 3 points at every single match and looking to win every single match. But the international break, disappointing, quite honestly, that this has come at this time. And it's going to be a big, important run of fixtures that we come into. Let's look at, I wanted to do, I like to dip into some opposition fan channels, and I did find the Turfcast podcast. Just checking out and see what they think. They were off to a hot start, obviously, Burnley. I think they still have a quality squad. Obviously, Jaden Anthony's over there. He put a perfect cross in to have them go up within the first 10 minutes of their match against Blackburn Rovers. And then there's Blackburn scored a worldie and then played Route 1 football. I wanted to see what they think of the championship and just what they're going through currently. They probably felt points dropped last week against Blackburn.
God knows how long that it was an even derby. Like almost we were on a level playing field, but they didn't come to play football. They came to sit back and defend a draw and maybe nick the ball on counter attack. Yeah, which, like I say, can't complain about because we did that for years under Dyche. So, if we'd have done that back in there when they were half decent and got a draw, we'd probably have celebrated similar. But it tells you everything, like how much they're celebrating this 1-1 draw with the first goal they've scored against us in 10 years and still not beating us for 14. But yeah, I thought we did well considering our lads had only just met each other. We had 2 in the starting 11 who we'd only signed like the last couple of days. But yeah, I thought we did decent. Thought we played well. Yeah, I just wish that we could have nicked a winner. And
yeah, it's kind of like, welcome to the championship. Welcome back to the championship, boys. You're not going to be able to play really beautiful football. It's going to be Route 1 against a lot of different teams. So that makes me think they will come out and play. They've got players to do so. It really depends on whether Leeds United can be sound defensively, can keep the streak of clean sheets going. I think it should be a good game. And Free Fallen says we're home against Burnley, so my mistake. Still, I think it's just a little bit of a trap game for us, coming off international. Quite honestly, some of these are posh international setups. I just look at the USMNT kicking it at the Kansas City Chiefs game, next to Taylor Swift before they get beat 2-1 from Canada. Like, it's a little bit of a vacation, it's not exactly, somebody used to say the cat's away, the mice will play. The U.S. don't, or Pochettino, right, he's not there right now. So it's a good chance to see your friends, good chance to see your mates, kick around, see an NFL game, and you've got basically a lot of work to do when you come back. So just depends on the club. I'm sure Wales got stuck in. I'm sure, a lot of these European setup, U21 setups, the competition's high. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see how they perform. Farco basically come in on the press conference on Friday and be like, I've had, 12 hours with these guys. So what else can I tell you? Let's dig into your comments from the last video, and we'll take it from there, and we'll check out what the live comments are coming up. Bab says, "A up, man. A up, Bab." Philip Allen says, "Baits to boys are tightwads." I don't know. I think you're referring to the 49ers. They do it to do it on the cheap is their game. They are taking a massive risk again on failure Farka and this squad to get promoted on the cheap. If they pull it off, they will have their big payday. But my questions are, will Farka be replaced as a top manager with a top manager? Will the money be spent to keep Leeds in the Premiership? And from what I've seen, the Bates to boys, again, I assume you're talking about the 49ers enterprises, since they came through Ellen Road's door 5 years ago. I doubt it. I doubt they'll do it. Philip, they like to win. They like to win. That's all I can tell you. They really enjoy winning. They're at the top of the table, if you want to call it a table, in the NFL. I imagine that they want to be top of this table as well. And then I don't understand why that wouldn't change when they get in the Premier League. They'll be around the 10th or so richest club in the Premier League. Pontus says, Alex, not happy with Leicester and how they've snaked it. Should put your hands up if you've done something wrong. Can't feel good to know you just cheated that way. Pontus, morals are something that's gone out the window a lot unfortunately in this day and age. So I don't think they're losing any sleep, and I don't think City's going to get, Manchester City's going to get any kind of penalty, right? I mean, doesn't bode well. But I do think people are licking their chops to penalize Leeds United to keep us in this league. So if our books are not in order, I absolutely would see us getting, Sheffield United minus whatever. They get like minus 12, minus 15. They got something crazy. Not Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. My apologies. Very overdue, says Colin. Rob says, interesting as always, Alex. Thank you, Robin. No room to sit down comfortably. I don't know what you mean by that. The 49ers also led the NFL to the Super Bowl. They know and want how to win. Slim Hood says, the silence from the 49ers is deafening. I agree with that. I would like to see a statement. Andy Wong says, I'm just perplexed at the rules and how much we have gambled, then sold in reserve. I didn't see Gray or Ruter happening, and that led me to preparing for more surprises. 1 year ago, the 49ers were in charge in the Red Bull sponsorship. I was licking my lips. We are in good position now. Rightly or wrongly, as a Leeds fan, I have naive arrogance and that we are nailed, and that we should be nailed on for the top 2. Some Leeds fans are delusional, some have faith, and some are philosophical, and some are bitter with failure. The bitter ones, guys, come on. Why not be optimistic? We have successful periods before us, so why not dream about the present? Absolutely, Andy. Absolutely. On a previous blog, I said that Leeds have appeared to have bought on the cheap. This is Andy again. Sold 162 million, bought 30, brought in 30 million, 100 million plus change, whatever. 2 loans. Carnes brought in Rodon, Bogle, Ramazani, Schmidt, Tanaka. I feel I'm missing one. Latest additions are cheap, bargain basement. Gus Hammer and Salai would have been justification in advocating with me on the cheapo comment. Look, Andy's kind of on the fence there. I'm saying PSR, man. It's PSR. I mean, I really think Leeds United would be spending if we were in the Premier League, but we're in the we're in the championship, and I think they do have fiduciary responsibility to not just spend gangbusters. Have go all out and get Gus Hammer for 30 million. That's just not going to happen. I think. What did they offer? 20 and Perot. I think that was actually pretty reasonable. So it is what it is. The EFL, Free Fallen says the EFL has always hated Leeds United and have always gone out of their way to punish Leeds in whatever way possible for decades. Well, I go back also to the letters of apology that the EFL sent Daniel Farka for rulings. Daniel Farka said if just 2 of those rulings came back, then we would be in the Premier League. So look no further than that. There was a ton of calls that went against us last year. There was a couple that went for us, I remember. But yeah, there is a conflict of interest in having us in the championship. We are the EFL's biggest moneymaker. I think there was a time when Rad Razani was thinking it was honestly threatening the EFL to change leagues, if you remember correctly. I think he wanted to make a run to join the Scottish Premiership or something crazy like that. So there is a conflict of interest, right? The EFL is struggling for money. The EFL Championship is struggling for money. The Cups aren't bringing in what they used to. And Leeds United is a cash cow. So, if they have, I don't know, name some smaller clubs in the Premier League, like I was gonna say Burnley, but they have like Brentford and I think Fulham's grown quite a bit. I don't know. Say Brighton. Which that won't happen. But name 3 smaller clubs, right, in the Premier League. Say Crystal Palace. I don't know. Crystal Palace could be huge now, but they fall. We get promoted. The EFL would struggle. I think they need the bigger clubs to get relegated. I think they're quite honestly licking their chops at the possible prospect of Everton going down. I do. I think that they're down there, come on. It's like a cartoon. Anyways, but yeah, we have to get out of this league. We have to get out of this league this year. It's gotta happen. For the game, I am going to predict. I'm going to predict a 1-1. I think we concede, and then I think we tighten up shop. I think we concede early, and I think there's something going down with. If I'm scouting Leeds United and self-scouting Leeds United, I think that there's something with the partnership with Bogle and Rodon that doesn't sit quite right with me. And obviously Joe Rodon's been on international duty, so they really haven't had the preparation to prepare. And I do think that Burnley can get after Jaden Bogle, who he's weak at defending, right? If he's weak at a part of his game, I think defending, everybody would say, Sheffield United fans said he couldn't defend. And I think a player like Jaden Anthony might be able to get after him. And Joe Rodon, knowing when to help, when not to, would that there might be a miscommunication there as well. So that's where I think, or it's going to be like a 0-0, and Farka's just going to like close up shots. It's going to look like the West Brom game, and Farka's just going to be like, these are the tactics, and we're not going to concede. And if you have space to go forward, this is where you're going to go forward. It's going to maybe look like that. It's going to be like a 0-0, 1-1. That's my expectation. It's not going to be fun to look at. This game is not going to be open. I would be shocked if it's a track meet or a basketball match. I don't know. I don't know what Farka can do with all these players out on international duty, really what kind of tactics he can have. And he's not willing to, he's not a gaffer that's made a lot of changes, especially off of a win. I wouldn't expect him to make any. So that's my time. Smash the like. 18 million for Hammer, says Andy. Yeah, I think that's right. I seem to recall that Somerville sales have been devalued for some reason. I could suss that out to the tune of 4 million. Somerville was sold to 25 because of a clause. I mean, I don't know. The hands were tied. I thought we were going to get 40. I was with you. I thought we were going to get 30. But yeah. Let's see what else we got. Practice corners. Yeah, amen. Yeah. We're absolutely. Practice those set. We need them. When's the last time we scored from a friggin' set piece? All right, everybody. Smash the like. I will see you Wednesday morning, and probably with a guest. So hope you do well. Cheers. Get a cup of coffee or some tea in you. Up the whites. Marching on together. Leeds.